targeted buyer. You know, how do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's a from I can only answer from technology perspective, because that's what I can answer really. Most efficient means is the one which gives you most of what you aim for.
Right. So, I mean, I see. Is it Rich Santori here? He says, "Yeah, the money is in the list." Do you agree with that?
I think so. Yes. I agree with him. Yeah.
And so, if that's the case, how do we increase your list building?
List building has, from technology perspective, list building has taken on different forms over the years. It used to be address list, contact book, and used to send out post to lots of people, maybe even the so-called direct mail, which is actually David's area. And he's yet to be seen. Where is he?
Don't worry, he's going to come in, and then I will go out. So I'm going to actually.
I don't think you need to go out. We have 2 more seats left, unless you have to go for a different reason. But
so Vivek, how do you have a list?
Yes, I do have a list, but what I was going to say was, in the past it used to be sending mail by post. Then it became send it by email. So you started building email lists, and people developed software to handle the email lists, and MailChimp. There are various softwares that are available to. They call it customer relationship management software, and the acronym used is CRM, and I always call it crummy software.
Crummy software? What is that?
Crummy. It's not. Crummy is a term that's used for something which is not all that good, but appears to look good. Crummy bits of biscuits. You know,
is that the latest bling and shiny object you're talking about?
No. I'm talking about. David has finally.
Oh,
David has finally made his guest his appearance. Finish your sentence, Vivek.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking about customer relationship management softwares, which pretend to be managing customers, and they don't. The people who use it have to maintain it. They have to use it as a tool rather than use it as the only thing that they depend on. You shouldn't depend entirely on that. You have to be there. One of the things, I mean, I'm talking in, I have just a couple of minutes ago, I had an email exchange with someone who was trying to sell me a modern version of CRM software, and the thing that is lacking from them is the human touch. There's no human touch. It's they are talking about the software which does things, and it doesn't feel right. It just.
Wow, Vivek, you just got right on here. And I admire you a lot, because you says the simplicity is better, right? And if you have the simplicity down, wow, I'm not a technical person, right? But you know, when you present it in such a great way of simplicity, even though maybe, you know, sometimes technical people, they're sort of in their pace, right? They're not like actors, right? And so we have to understand that not all marketers are super speakers. But if I listen to you and pay attention a little bit, you got it. You got the whole thing about the human content. I mean, I work with healing. I have a healing business, and that's my job, to actually connect personally with people, right? So, but I need the technical component, and I have an amazing webmaster who helps me. So I'm so grateful for that. And then you could be such a person for clients like myself, right? And I'm sure that David is super impressed by you.
Let's not get carried away here, Margarita.
David.
No, it's
welcome.
You make
welcome, David.
Pardon me.
And welcome, David. And
thank you, Vivek. Thank you.
Please put a hello in the comment.
That's
stream.
Right.
And we have quite an audience today. Richie Santororo, as I already mentioned. Phil Aston joined us.
Phil Aston from England?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hello, Phil.
Yeah.
And here's another information. I don't know whether you are aware of this. In the UK, today there is celebration going on. Our Queen Elizabeth is the longest reigning monarch
in history.
Wow.
How many years is that?
1,000,002.
1,002. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
She's got to be in the monarchy for over 60 years, right?
Yeah, 63 years or something. Yeah, she has. Okay, so
almost as long as I am old. Good for her.
Yeah. Genius.
Not that old, David.
Not what old?
Genius Loci, who is actually Phil Ashton, says hello, small biz David.
I was giving some hand signs to Margarita.
Yeah.
66. I remember Queen Elizabeth coming in as a young child, and I was 6 years old when she came in.
That's true.
I was 3 years old. 3 years old if she's been there 63 years.
Vivek,
you want me to
this thing up here, connecting that with the thing up down here in the heart. So when that meets, it's at the throat, right? That's the communication. And so if you can do this journey, like the Buddha says, the journey from here to the heart, 17 inches is the hardest journey a person can do. But in the meantime,
what a beautiful
as
analogy.
marketers, we can focus on this level, right?
That is so lovely. I love that. I want everybody to give Margarita like 9,000 stars and applauses, and there they come.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Wow, your numbers went up. Your value went. You're at 279, 283, 287, 280. Wow. And they just keep on coming. 312. Oh, it's going to explode.
Send some to Vivek too, you know.
Let him say something. No. Should I set up the why we are doing these blabs, Vivek?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe I am sure Margarita, if she hasn't heard previously, in the wonderful collaborative relationship that Vivek and I have, he absolutely represents the how. I represent the what, because we will have some type of business objective, which I kind of establish, and taking one step further, it goes beyond just a business objective. It's a marketing objective. It's a sales objective, and that's what our topic is of discussion of this blab is today. but we'll do it. We'll have a brainstorming session. So I bring the what to the table. Vivek brings the how to the table because he's the technology guy and he understands that he's doing some really innovative, creative, wonderful things with BLAB technology. We've only been in this is our 7th BLAB session. We had a day or two before we started doing it, and he is coming up with all kinds of creative applications. We are integrating whatever we're doing into Google Plus technology, Hangouts. So we're really doing a good job of embracing things and integrating, making them all happen. But Vivek is the how, I'm the what, and how plus what together we have to come up with the why. Why are we doing what it is that we're doing?
And I'm your admirers. You have been on our show, David, the Connections Forum, Hangout on Connection right now. And so I have interviewed you. Do you remember?
Yeah, I better get on there again. It's been over a year since I was with you.
Do you have time on Thursday? Tomorrow we have an opening.
What time do you do it?
Eastern.
I'm sorry, what time?
10 Eastern time.
I'm teaching an exercise class at that time.
Oh, sorry. We can do it a little later if that's possible.
No, don't change. Don't change just for me. Actually, it brings up an interesting point because once this week, Vivek and I have already been challenged on my schedule with not being able to be sitting at my desk at the time that I was supposed to be sitting at my desk. So I said, well, I'll carry my Chromebook with me and I'll just do the BLAB from my Chromebook. And Vivek said, no, you won't. And I said, why? He said, because Chromebook technology is not integrated yet into BLAB technology. So you can't use Chromebook. You can't use Android. That's I'm not making a negative statement there. The most important thing, and this is where people need to totally understand what I'm going to say right now. BLAB is in its beta state. It's been going on for less than 90 days. And so in beta state, and Vivek will tell you he's got a project in beta state right now. He and I hung out a half hour before this to create a beta. I'm one of his beta testers on some new technology that he's developed. So with beta, things can change. Like before we're done with this BLAB, they have made a change to the technology that'll make it operate differently. We've all been very used to that, working in Hangouts on Air technology, Google Plus technology, because they change. They don't tell you necessarily. And millions of people are trying to do an HOA. And why? My HOA is not working. Well, Google changed the algorithm, the technology, the whatever. And so, and it's all part. We have to have fun with this. People don't want to have fun with it. They want to get all uptight. It's the fun part about being a business because you know what? It's the thing we can't control. It's a major thing in our business that we can't control. And if we're going to depend upon technology, which we need to do to create efficiencies to our business, then we have to go with the flow. And if Google servers come down, the world shuts down. And you know what? Go fishing. Just drop and go fishing.
When Google's changed everything, it's like crashing any kind of webinars. What do you call them? Wrappers, and nothing works. And then, like a non-techie person, my goodness, what do? We have to rely on our technical people. And so this is. Google, I mean, when
Vivek and I are very special to Google because we're Google for Work application in our businesses. He's been doing it for several years. About a year ago, or not quite a year yet, he said, David, you need to do it for your business. So I have integrated a lot of the applications into the business. He right now, Vivek is developing a very, very interesting concept. Shall I let you talk about the interesting concept, or you want me to talk about it, Vivek?
So I'm going to go out. I just came in for a little while, and thank you for letting me in, and good luck with your BLAB.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your support.
And thank for the.
Okay, well, let's get down to our topic of discussion, and it certainly is maybe the most important discussion that one might have in their business. In our very first BLAB session, we talked about the small business being able to communicate what it is that they do. That's called marketing. First of all, you have to have your hands around what it is that you do. And secondly, how do you communicate that, what you do, to the rest of the world? That's what marketing is all about. Obviously, we want our marketing to convert to sales. We want our marketing. And Vivek, I was going to add my 2 cents to you were talking about marketing automation and CRM, and it has taken the human element out of marketing, and it really has. It's automation, for God's sakes. It's taken the human element out. But what it does, and this is where I was going to add my 2 cents. It's extremely valuable and very, very efficient for generating leads to your business. Okay, because the sale starts with the lead. Can't hear you, Vivek. Still can't hear you.
Oh,
there you go.
Dustin Stout joined. He says, "Hey, Small Biz David."
I'm sorry. What?
Dustin Stout. He says, "Hey."
Oh, hey, ask him if he wants to come in.
He probably would if we.
I'm sure he would. Dustin's got a lot of valuable information to share. And I've got a question for Dustin that relates to today's topic of discussion. So we'll get his perspective on it. There he is, from California. From California, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dustin W. Stout. Yay!
Hi. So I was just casually jumping on BLAB, the homepage, and saw a familiar face, David. Saw your face on there.
Wow, is a familiar face good? Is that a good thing to have, Dustin?
That's a good thing. A good thing. Yeah. So
I want real quickly. I want your impressions of BLAB, and then I want to ask you a question related to our BLAB discussion today.
Yeah. So I've been on BLAB for a while now, and I love shiny new things. I really do. And I think what they've done here at BLAB is just incredible. The simplicity that it's executed with, the beauty of the interface, and the integration, the engagement factor is beyond anything that I think any live streaming platform has done before them. I'm also a big Periscope fan. I love Periscope. I love what Meerkat is trying to do. I don't love that they're trying to do it a little too fast and nothing seems to work. But I think what BLAB has done is they've kept it simple enough and beautiful enough that it's just that sweet spot of being just featured enough, just full featured enough, and it works brilliantly and it looks brilliantly and it's super dead simple. But I do not think it is what many people are calling it, the Hangouts killer.
No,
I think Hangouts have an intrinsically different use case, and
but they can be used so wonderfully together. And
you think so?
That's what we're trying to do. That's what Vivek and I are trying to
think about
to integrate. No, it's a great. Well, let me show you. Let me give an example, and then we'll get down to our discussion today. Yesterday we were blabbing. Yesterday, a friend Scott Silverstein.
He wants to jump in again.
Don't let him come in. He was in here yesterday. He jumped in, and being Scott, he wanted to share something, and it was tearing him apart, and he wanted to share it. And I said, go ahead. And he shared that he's going to be doing a BLAB. It's going to start as a BLAB, but it might evolve into a BLAB series on prostate cancer. Scott is a survivor of prostate cancer. And so he's taught me a lot about it. So I said, Scott, why don't we do an HOA this weekend prior to your BLAB series, and we'll talk about it, and we'll target that audience, the HOA audience, the Google Plus audience, and then you'll do your BLAB and tie all that stuff together. He says, so that's what we're doing. We're going to use an HOA this weekend so he can introduce his BLAB series. But I was just reading an article. It was kind of interesting, and I think Dustin, you and I have had this discussion in the past. The number one challenges, the four major challenges of marketing for 2015 and probably 2016 and 2017 and thereafter. It's the prospecting challenge, getting appointments, getting yourself to the right buyer, and that's the specific discussion that we had today, that we want to have today. The account management challenges, negotiation challenges, and closing challenges. Well, those are the same for any business, be they big or small. I think this article is targeted more towards the enterprise, the larger business. You and I, we do a lot of, and Vivek, we do a lot of networking with solopreneurs, one-people operations, and we still have the same challenges. It's just how do we deal with them as individuals as opposed to large organizations. Now, my question to you is going to be, and I don't know, I know a big picture of what you do for sure, but I don't know your specific targeted audience. So what I wanted you to share is who is your targeted audience, and then how do you know that you are reaching the individual that makes a buying decision for your services? Because we waste a whole lot of time trying to find the buyer. When I will not have a conversation if I'm trying to sell a big package kind of services, if I don't have the buyer, if I'm not networking with the buyer,
right?
I mean, if I'm not going to say, well, I'll call you later, or I'll pass this on. That doesn't work with me. If I'm going to take my time to present what I'm going to present, it's going to be to someone who can make a buying decision, and I will ask that individual for the sale before we define next steps. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have to answer that question 3 times because you do 3 different things in your life. Well, yeah, right. Because I have I'm part owner of a digital marketing firm, Wheel Media. I am co-founder of a WordPress plugin, Social Warfare, and I run a tiny little blog that does pretty well. So for our marketing company, Wheel Media, we target specifically entrepreneurs, and a lot of throughout the years, there's been this emphasis on small business and small business owners, and the keyword small business has been a very big buzzword and a very good target to aim at. But we discovered recently some studies saying that targeting the specific keyword of entrepreneur actually ends up being more successful or more effective, rather, because I feel like small business owner can be a lot more generalized, whereas if you're looking for an entrepreneur, you can start to get a lot more specific of the type of person or the persona or the avatar or whatever you want to call it of what your specific buyer looks like. And so we've kind of targeted the idea, the keyword of entrepreneur, and we've done pretty well with that. And we tend to gravitate towards either the early stage startup entrepreneurs or the solopreneurs who've been kind of doing this thing for a long time. That being said, some of our best clients are actually enterprises. So how well we're actually doing with that, can be.
Well, at the end of the month, though, you know pretty well how you did with your activity in the prior 30 days. So, well, and I want to emphasize the point that it's important to actually. There's a lot of tools out there that have made it pretty easy for us to identify the buyers, and what a beautiful way to engage the buyers than blabbing with them or blogging, whatever, going face to face with them. I mean,
speaking of engagement, David, pizza on the cheap, which is Scott Silverstein.
Are we peddling pizza again today? What is this?
He wants to. He has a question. Can Dustin handle some tough questions regarding target marketing? If yes, bring me in. He says.
You know what? Let's make that a separate blab as such. Not that it's not a good question, and not that Dustin wouldn't love to do that.
Yeah,
and if someone answered that question, someone answered a target market, but we need to define who our customer is before we can define the buyer.
Right.
Who is our customer?
So just to wrap this up, because I do have to run. We've got the marketing company. We target entrepreneurs, usually early stage startup entrepreneurs, or solopreneurs who've been at it for a while or ready to branch out. For Warfare plugins, we built a WordPress plugin that is a social sharing tool. It's a social sharing arsenal is how we refer to it. It's the best social sharing plugin ever created for WordPress. I will put that up against any social sharing plugin that is out there. Even the big guys like Add This or Share This, they have nothing on us. So we have a very specific target audience or target buyer, and it kind of branches out to more than that, but we specifically, all of our marketing, all of our the visuals that we create, the language that we create, the brand identity that we associate ourselves with is geared towards WordPress bloggers. And plenty of just regular website owners have bought our plugin and love our plugin and rave about it, but we specifically target hardcore bloggers. People like Peg Fitzpatrick and Rebecca Radice, and people who blog and know the importance of having your content shared in a way that will bring traffic back to you. Not just getting it shared as a headline and a link, but understanding the power of customized sharing that actually drives traffic back through those shares.
Is Nick involved with you on that project?
Nick Cardot.
Yeah,
he's the co-founder. So he's so it's myself, Nicholas Cardot, and Jason Weiser. We all kind of came together at the same time with a conglomerate of ideas about why social sharing plugins suck on WordPress and how we think it could be better.
I didn't realize Jason was a part of.
He's the business guy. Like he covers all the admin stuff, make sure that us creative folks are rained down on, make sure we're not dreaming too much, we're sticking in reality and hitting business goals, and that leaves us the ability to.
One final question before you go. How your son's doing?
They're great. Oh man, Judah just left for his second week of school.
Oh my goodness!
In week 2 of preschool, he's going 3 days a week, and it is fantastic. Because we were afraid he was gonna
dad can get some work done at home.
Right? Yeah.
He can't play with his son all day long.
Right, that's true. So he's gone for about 3 hours, 3 days a week, and Micah's, he's growing and climbing and getting into things that he shouldn't be. So it's wonderfully stressful.
Are they computer savvy yet, or not? They're not too far off, I'm sure.
David, let me tell you this. We bought a Chromebook a couple years ago when I was headed to a conference. I was headed to Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, and I needed a laptop because I didn't have a laptop yet. I just had my iMac. And it's very, I don't know if you ever tried to walk around with an iMac, at a conference. It doesn't actually work. So I bought a Chromebook and then, eventually got a MacBook Pro. So we haven't been using the Chromebook. Well, I think about a month or so ago, Judah discovered the Chromebook. And he opened it up and he wanted to pretend he was playing on it. And my wife, God bless her, she showed him the PBS Kids website where they have like games and stuff where he could play.
Enough said. Now he finds his way. He knows how to get there.
He knows how to get there. He knows how to navigate the games. He knows how to play the games. 3.5 years old. And then Micah will come right up next to him. Usually he lays on the ground. It's the cutest thing ever. Lays on the ground and plays it. And then Micah comes up and lays right next to him and just watches. The best thing, it's the best part. I just look over the little banister here and just watch him play for a little while. It's great.
Well, you gotta share with him one bit of information that you probably already have. With his Chromebook, he can't blab.
Oh yeah, unfortunately.
Poor kid. He'd be
He doesn't know how to launch a hangout.
He'd be setting blabs up for. That'd be cute. It'd be cute, the kind of blab he would set up.
Yeah. All righty, guys. Well, thanks for having me on. Good to see you.
Well, thanks for coming by. It's always a pleasure to interact with you. And
just before you go, at DC Erwin asks you, what's the plugin name?
Oh, plugin name is Social Warfare. I'll drop the link here. warfareplugins.com. There you go. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have an awesome day.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Elaine NSL from London. She has been watching us. Thank you for that. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Elaine.
I'm going to have to get a magnifying glass, Vivek. I'm having a hard time reading the right side of the screen.
Yeah, it's a kind of why do they use gray on white?
Yeah, gray. That's the worst I can do.
I don't understand that, but
speaking of which, I wanted to ask you a question. Speaking about magnification, I had an idea, and I thought you would be able to give me an answer that has nothing to do with today's topic.
Mm-hmm.
But is there some kind of screen that I can put in front of my Chromebook that will magnify the image, the Chromebook image?
There would be some
a big magnification thing.
Yeah, there may be probably would be something like that. Yes.
Okay, well, not to worry about it now. But I know when I challenge you with something, you're already looking for it and multitasking and programming and. Okay. I wanted to. I'm going to ask a couple questions, and if anybody, some of the research that I was doing, we could certainly talk for hours and hours about it. Maybe some of this should evolve into a chapter in my book. Maybe that's a good idea. I think I'm going to do a BLAB because you've got the technology down. I think I'm going to do a BLAB and then just make it a chapter of the book. And do it in the BLAB format. You
can, but BLAB has one drawback, which is you'll have to download the video and then upload it to YouTube yourself, which is a pain.
Well, but you're doing it all the time, right?
I do it all the time, but but video book is supposed to be a bit longer. It makes it even the file is going to be even bigger, which makes it harder to. It takes even longer. So
how long does it take you to download, upload? As you why don't you? We can't even screen share.
It does depend on your ISP. Actually, my ISP is not really good. We need to change it, but that's a separate topic. It does depend on the ISP itself, but with the Hangout on Air, that part is already taken care of. So unless you are planning on looking at a podcast and so on, I don't see why you need, I mean, what is the question is why you want to do with BLAB? Are you trying to engage Twitter people? Are you trying to engage totally new people within the video book environment as it is going on live? If not, I would say Hangout on Air is better, because Hangout on Air gives you better video quality. For example, on a Hangout on Air, you will be able to read this very clearly. I'm not changing any setup. I'm not changing any hardware setup. I'm not changing any video camera or anything. But on a Hangout on Air, you would be able to read it very clearly.
I mentioned that to you this morning when we did a Hangout on Air.
On a BLAB, you probably cannot. That's.
Well, remember I told you this morning how clear it was, that I could actually read it. And now that we're in the BLAB, I know what it says, but I'm still having a hard time reading it. I can see some of the images, but it's very washed out.
That is the resolution that is used by the BLAB software. Of course, it is, as we keep repeating, it's still in beta stages. We may feel, I mean, we may find that they give an option to increase the resolution. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, may not be. Yeah, have we answered today's question?
Well, yes and no. I probably have to make a summary statement. Oh, let me ask a couple other questions that tie into all of this. Why is prospecting so hard? Actually, prospecting is hard because we make it hard. Prospecting doesn't have to be hard, and people approach prospecting with a mentality of a cold call. And why would anybody want to do a cold call? I only like.
But that's what I would. I'm a technical person, and I don't know how to sell. Yes, and I approached people who provide sales training. And that's what they do.
What? Sales training.
Yeah, sales training, and that's what they provide. So, take it from me. I'm a technical guy. I don't know how to sell. Yes, and I'm admitting it openly. Can you train me, people? And when I say that to sales training people, all they tell me is cold calling scripts. I have a huge, big folder this thick, which tells you how to do cold calling, how to still follows the same old.
You know how big my folder is on cold calling?
You tell me. I don't know.
How small can you get?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I said no. I can't do any of that. I'm not a sales guy. I would like to sell, yes, but I'm not a sales guy. I'm not trying to be a sales guy.
I'm gonna give a quick answer to the question. Do you understand the most efficient means of reaching your targeted buyer? Bottom line, it's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. Do your homework. Do your research. Identify in your mind who the buyer of your service is. Now, there's a big difference, and you have to understand these differences. If the product or service that you sell is to a consumer, that's what B2C is, business to consumer, or if it's to another business, B2B, business to business. Now, the larger the business, and you heard me say this earlier, the larger the business, the more difficult it is to identify the buyer, because you've got layers of stuff. You've got the organization. You've got the gatekeepers. People say, I read these. I've read these in my past. I don't read them anymore. How to get by the gatekeeper. Why would you want to get by the gatekeeper? Why don't you want to engage the gatekeeper?
Pattern interrupt and all the rest of it. Yeah, cold calling, pattern interrupt.
Don't try to get by the gatekeeper. Engage the gatekeeper. Invite the gatekeeper to a blab. Blab with them. But efficiency really is about time, isn't it? I mean, efficiency is about time. So how do you make best use of your time to find your targeted buyer? And I could say, do your homework. I've taken a different approach, Vivek, in my lifetime, and you've heard me talk about this before. Kind of.
Mark Timberlake says he's with us. He has done. He says, if you can teach, you can sell.
Great point, Mark. Thank you. Yes. Well, a good teacher sells. That's the objective of a teacher. You're trying to educate. You're trying to get someone to understand what it is that you're talking about, and you're selling to them. It's a great analogy. Great analogy. Thank you, Mark. Over the years, and I'm telling this because it's a business model that's worked for me, but I don't think I would recommend my business model to other folks because you have to approach it differently. But instead of me doing a lot of marketing and telling the world what I do, I've taken a different approach. I've made a list of people that I wanted to do business with. Okay. And the list might be 10 people, very defined, or companies. They could be people, they could be companies. If they're companies, obviously you have to define who the buyer of your services, your product or services is within that company. You have to identify that. But if they're people, that's fine. And as solopreneurs, that and the networks that we've created, and the friends and the followers that we have in the various social media platforms, the various platforms, those are the folks that we may or may not want to be selling something to. You have to determine that. It's not an easy thing to do, to try to sell online in this kind of environment. You're actually selling yourself. You're as Mark says, you're the teacher, and you're hoping that folks will buy in to what it is that you are talking about. And if you can teach, you certainly can sell. That's a good analogy. I think about it in the old days when in the 3 months in the United States, anyways, basically teachers had 9 months of teaching, 3 months of holiday during the summer, and so most teachers that I knew growing up, they did something extra in the summer to generate some additional revenue for their homes, for their households, for their families, and ran into a lot of encyclopedia salespeople over the years who were teachers. What better salesperson could you have trying to sell you an encyclopedia than a teacher? Is that a pretty good analogy, Mark? Encyclopedia sales. Most people are probably scratching their heads saying, what's an encyclopedia, Vivek? It's not a encyclopedia anymore, is it? It's Wikipedia.
David, people want to jump in. We were thinking of some ground rules.
Okay, I'll share the ground rules. Pretty simple. In the past couple of days, this is the seventh day that Vivek have seventh consecutive day that Vivek and I have been doing BLABs, very specific questions that we have created for an audit, so that you can think about those questions as you start to prepare your strategic thinking and action plan for 2016. And now is not too early to start thinking about 2016. Oh, Vivek, didn't I tell you I had something special I wanted to offer today?
Mm-hmm.
And here it is, one time only. For the next 10 people that fill out an audit form, 7 technology questions, 7 marketing and sales questions, very, very simple questions. Vivek and I will invite the 10 people. Are there 10 seats available in a Hangout?
In a Hangout, yes.
Or 12 seats?
in a hangout. It should be 15 actually.
Oh, okay. Well, for the next 13
15,
people.
probably, yeah, 13 to 14 people should be, yes.
Well, but you and I will take 2 of the seats. So if there's 15 seats, whatever, next 12 or 13 people, and we'll figure it out. Next 12 or 13 people that fill out that audit form that Vivek and I have created. First of all, if you fill it out and submit it, it'll show us that you really are caring about your business and really thinking about your business. And you want to make sure that in 2016, you take your business to the next level. For the next 12, 13 folks that fill out that form and submit it, Vivek and I will create a private HOA with just those folks and ourselves, and we'll do a lot of brainstorming about small business. And you can bring to the table your toughest challenge that you have in your business, and we'll just go around the table, and everybody will contribute a response to that challenge, and you'll get enough response with folks like yourself, other small business owners, other solopreneurs, that you will be able to put your hands around a challenge. And I can give you a guarantee. I don't know everything there is to know about small business, but I've been doing it for over 40 years, so I know a lot of stuff with a specific emphasis on marketing and sales and strategy. But if I can't give you an answer based upon personal experience, because I will not philosophize an answer, I will give an answer based upon something that I have done in the last 40 plus years, and then say it worked, it didn't work, here's why it worked, here's why it didn't work. So
David,
yeah.
Malhi Karinder wants to jump in.
Come on down. You didn't even give me a chance to put the guidelines in.
I asked you.
Yeah, I know you did. I got off on another tangent. Okay, welcome, and let me. I want to share with the rest of the folks who are watching what our guidelines are, and so you'll see if you fit our guidelines for coming into our BLAB. Number one, we want to know first and foremost that you are sincere about your desire to come in, and that you have some compelling information or a compelling question that you would like to challenge us or the audience with. We have found a couple times, because we're new at this, we have found a couple times in the past couple of days, some folks have come in, really had nothing to offer, and we didn't do a good job of qualifying those people. So what we're going to ask in the future, if somebody wants to come in, to let us know they want to come in, but also put in the stream why you want to come in. And so we'll then determine if that's a good reason to come in and take some space and share some time. So let me know, Karinder Malhi. Is that do okay pronouncing your name? Okay. Yeah. Why did you want to come into the BLAB today?
Because I want to ask questions about BLAB, like how do you get the flavor of BLAB?
I can't. His volume's pretty bad. Can you hear him? I can't.
Hear me?
I can't. Your volume. There's something about BLAB and volume.
No, yeah. I want sound. To know how do you get the flavor of BLAB?
You know what? Why don't you put your question in the stream, and I'll answer it that way. Because I've made this comment to Vivek many times already. He and I did a hangout today. Volume was wonderful, as it always is. We did a hangout on air. We just hung out as we do, just one-on-one, and his volume was fine. But then he comes into the BLAB technology, and his volume level drops tremendously, and we got to figure that out.
Mark Timberlake has a question. How do you get subscribers on BLAB?
How do you get them?
No, I'm okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a great question because, well, people will see that you're marketing your blab, you're out there, and in order to watch it, you have to subscribe to it. But Vivek, is there any kind of database that we as producers of the blab have access to? I mean, do we know exactly who is coming before they come or not?
No, we don't.
Okay.
BLAB is completely open, and it's typically who is available watching it. So that is typically what happens by default. I myself have been using the Google Plus to create an event, send out invites to my Google Plus people. But that's a different route. That is not provided by BLAB. It's not provided by. I mean, it's not a default thing. So, yeah, I don't know whether.
Yeah. Well, the one thing about using, as we do, using the event page to market our blab, if they're not inside of Google Plus, they'll never see our event page. So they go to the front page of the blab, the homepage of the blab, and they see who is blabbing at that moment. Let me share a little story about that. It was kind of interesting. 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and even longer, I did a lot of streaming on a website, and it was live streaming on the website. And I did the same thing I'm doing now, talking about entrepreneurship and small business. I had 20,000 followers who would be equated to a subscriber in the Blab world or the YouTube world. And those 20,000 followers, they generated 2.5 million views of my live streaming in a 3-year period. So I was up there. But the reason why I'm saying this, the developers, the owners of the website, liked what I was doing. They liked my topic. They liked my content, and they put me on the homepage. At the time that I was doing a live stream, there might have been 200 or 300 other folks doing a live stream of their own, just like probably is going on in Blab right now. I have no other idea how many other Blabs are happening. I'm going to guess there's got to be 100 of them going on at this hour. But the owners of the website only put maybe 25 websites on that pages of producers on their homepage, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the 25 because they liked me, and that in and of itself. So anytime I was live, I was one of the 25 on a rolling scroll of what's happening on Stickam right now. So that was a great way for me to be able to build my followers, and I would not have gotten those numbers had I not been able to, had they not given me that kind of exposure, number one. But number two, and this never changes, you have to have content that other people want to listen to, or they want to be entertained by you. It doesn't really matter. You have to create some kind of value to whoever wants to spend their time. Because if they have 100 choices of Blabs right now, and I'm sure they do, if they have 100 choices, they're going to pick a blabber that A, either entertains them, or B, has content that creates value, and they learn. As Mark says, they're a teacher. If they're a teacher, they're a good salesperson. Great analogy, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, he agrees. He says absolutely, value holds people.
And when that kind of brings us back to why will your targeted buyer? Well, we've talked about the efficiency of reaching that targeted buyer. Then it all comes back to the buyer they have to like you. They have to trust you. They have to see a need for what it is that you have, what it is you have, your product, your service. But most importantly, they're not going to buy from you unless you can demonstrate value. Value comes in all different shapes and sizes. You know what? And when the discussion comes to value, and it has to come to value, it doesn't matter. The pricing discussion doesn't matter, because if you bring the right amount of value into somebody's life or into their business, you create a system, a process where they're going to get return on investment by just doing the things that you tell them that they need to do in their business. That's value. How do you put a price tag on it? How do you put a price tag on that? You are in the driver's seat on that particular discussion when you can drive value. You agree with that, Vivek?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Okay, good.
It's time for us to wrap up.
It's time to say goodbye for another day. Tomorrow, what are we going to be blabbing about tomorrow?
Tomorrow is a technology question, isn't it?
It is. It's an even number day, or it's an even number blab, so it's a technology question.
And tomorrow I would be asking, what methods do you use to communicate with your clients and prospective clients? There are lots of choices.
Oh, good topic. And we probably should mention ahead of time, unfortunately, with my new exercise class schedule that I have, I'm not going to have a class, and I may, or if everything works perfectly, and because I take buses now, if everything works perfectly, I'll be here. If not, Vivek is extremely capable, particularly in talking about the subject matter for tomorrow, because he has taught me so very, very much about what he's going to talk about tomorrow. And he might even use some of the stuff that he has shared, that he's taught me, as a case study for his discussion tomorrow. And Vivek, we got to figure out how to get this Chromebook friendly, blab friendly, so I can, wherever I am tomorrow at 11:30, I can plug in and
we'll have to talk to the blab
engineers.
Or
you have to do the talking, because you talk their language.
Okay, so yeah, it's time to wrap up. So
thanks everybody for taking time out of your schedule to come and blab with us. Time is a very, very valuable commodity. I sincerely hope that I have brought value, Vivek and I have brought value into your life. If we haven't, you're not going to be there tomorrow. And if we haven't, let us know. Let us know why we haven't. We're very, we're excuse me. We're curious to find that out. But we'll see you the next time, which, geez, excuse me, which may very well be the best time. See you then.
See you. And as I always say, integrate, simplify life. Thank you.